Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last week I've been driving the 2026 Toyota BZ XLE. Below me is a single electric motor powering this all-electric SUV. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today because the BZ has gotten a refresh for the 2026 model year. Not only have they shortened the name from BZ4X to just BZ, but it now has the North American Standard port on the passenger side, where it was previously the older design on the driver's side. It has a little bit more power, a little bit more range, and so we'll talk about all of that here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that all-electric powertrain. Well, that is what makes the BZ special. Toyota has other vehicles that occupy this space. Most namely, the Toyota RAV4 feels the most similar in size, price, and things like that. However, there is no electric RAV4. There's a plug-in hybrid, but there is no electric RAV4, so this fills that gap. Now, for this front-wheel drive single-motor version, it makes about 221 horsepower, which is fine, but nothing really off the charts. Now, with its 74.4 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, it is estimated to get about 314 miles per charge. I was seeing mid-200s. However, it was very cold here in my week of testing, so that's definitely a factor, but apparently in warmer temperatures, in the right temperature and climate zone, it will get 314 miles, which is a vast improvement over the pre-facelift BZ4X. How does it feel to drive the BZ? Super normal. It drives like every other SUV melted into a pot, stirred around, and put in the fridge to solidify. Which is good for a new driver, for someone that's just looking for a point A to point B car. It's going to be easy to drive, easy to control, decent visibility, but it's just nothing special. You're not going to be bragging to your friends when you get together on Thursdays about how great your BZ is. When asked about it, you'll probably say, no, it's pretty good, yeah. As it would happen after this video, I actually went to go charge the car at a Tesla charger, and an identical BZ, 2026 BZ in the same color pulled up and started charging next to me, so I got the opportunity to ask a real owner what she thought of it. And she said she absolutely loved the BZ. She had been looking for one for a very long time, and she loves how it drives. I then asked, did you cross-shop it with anything? And she said, no, I work for Toyota. So that was your answer there. So there's that. If you're looking for an exhilarating drive from Toyota, this unfortunately is not the product to do so in. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I do have a completely digital gauge cluster. I'm not a huge fan of this just because it is quite busy to look at. There's these little logos for like lane keep assist and cruise control, and I don't understand why they have to be on the screen at all times. That's kind of the benefit of having a screen, is that you don't have to show everything like the old warning lights of the 80s and 90s. They had to always be there. These don't always have to be here, so I'm questioning why they are when it's off. Of course, when you turn them on, it'd be nice if they popped up, but it just kind of messies the whole situation. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our volume and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise and mode button. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent. We have our gauge dimmer switch and trip odometer reset, automatic high beams, headlight washers, as well as our rear tailgate release. Moving on to the door, we have the latch to get in and out, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, we get a giant infotainment display. This also includes our climate controls, and this piece is pulled directly from the new Lexus RX 350, 450, and 500. The reason I know this is because literally the week before I had the Lexus RX 450, and it is part for part the exact same system. So that makes your Toyota feel a little bit nicer, or possibly your Lexus feel a little bit cheaper. Overall, it's been fine. It takes a couple of seconds to boot up. That was noticeable. The Lexus seemed to refresh a little bit quicker, but at the end of the day, the climate controls are easy to use. The map is easy to use. So overall, I would consider this a win in the interior of the BZ. Down below, we have two climate control vents. We have our hazard switch and dual wireless chargers, very nice for the driver and passenger. Then we have our center control stack. So off to the left is the power parking brake and brake hold. In the center, this is our shifter, kind of an odd shifter to get used to if you haven't driven a vehicle of this nature. However, only takes a couple minutes. And off to the right, we have our drive modes for traction control, eco mode, and snow mode. Then we do have cup holders. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and the BZ, unfortunately, even post refresh, fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we have the center console, which can open both ways. It's kind of cool. And the seats. The seats are heated, power, and they've been enjoyable. They have this like cloth insert that I actually really like. I actually really prefer this cloth. I think it looks good, feels good, operates well, and it's been comfortable over the last week. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's see if my big body can fit in the back of the BZ. All right, getting in the back of the Toyota BZ. And once we are in, close the door up. Pretty spacious. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me, and my head's not hitting the ceiling. I actually fit back here, 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here without really any compromise. I would be fine to ride back here for several hours or several minutes or what have you. This is a nice back seat, and as a bigger fellow, I don't always find that, even in this classification of car, so very, very nice to see. Over my shoulder, we do have a center console, 2 cup holders found in there, and coming into the center stack, not only do we have our own climate vents, again, not always found in vehicles, very nice to see, but we have 2 USB-C outlets. The same material from the front seats carry on back here, love to see that. Some grab handles and a light, but that's about it. This feels basically the same exact size as the Toyota RAV4. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Toyota RAV4 is almost the same price, almost the same size. Like they're very, very similar, kind of twin flame products. They don't share chassis or parts or anything like that, but they're very identical in sort of ethos and usability and things like that. So that's good, but I would still go RAV4. I just think it's a better product, and we'll talk about that later on. But if you've experienced the RAV4 and you're thinking of jumping over to the BZ, you're not going to be in a world of shock. It's going to be pretty much the same size experience. So if you like the RAV4, you like this. If you like this and you want to jump to the RAV4, again, same, but same. Let's hop into the back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the BZ, does have a power tailgate, which is very, very nice. And of course, this is our floor mat, trying to keep it nice and clean. We do have a privacy cover that we can remove. Very, very nice to see that. And coming under the floor, we do get some fix-a-flat things, charger cable, and all of that. We do have a wall outlet. Absolutely fantastic to see in a vehicle like this. You can turn it on and off with that switch right there. And we have some little hooks here, max 4 kilograms on these little hooks, but pretty spacious enough. Coming around the side here, opening this up, we can pull these seats down, and they do fold pretty flat. There's a little hump, but pretty flat. So both seats do fold down to offer a lot more cargo space if you have to move things or what have you. So there you go. That is the rear cargo space of the BZ. Come up here, power tailgate right back down. It's smooth enough for a modern car. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this also has been refreshed for the 2026 model year. I think it does look a lot better. After we do this walk around, I'll do a quick comparison of the outgoing BZ4X and the BZ. I think it looks good. I think it looks EV enough. It still follows that Toyota design language. It's still identifiable as a Toyota. This is where I actually think it looks better as a Toyota than it does as the Subaru. Here is the Subaru Solterra for 2026. You can see, obviously, they're the same car, but I think the Toyota just looks more Toyota-y, which I like. Now, here's the comparison between the outgoing BZ4X and the 4X, BZ, 4X, BZ, 4X, BZ. So, there you go. Those are the differences. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the refreshed Toyota BZ for the last week? Well, I think it does a lot of things pretty well. It's an electric car. It's smooth. It's quiet. It's easy to operate. It's easy to work. Again, as I mentioned with the driving feel, I don't want you to think that that was actually a negative. Anyone could drive this. I could give the keys to my 90-year-old grandparents. I could give the keys to a 16-year-old who just walked out of the DMV with their fresh new plastic license. And I would have confidence that both groups would be able to pilot and operate this vehicle in a good way, and I would trust them with it. That's a big perk. I think the tech in here is good. I do like this infotainment display from the Lexus. I think it works well. I like the dual wireless chargers. I think that's a huge benefit. Seats are comfortable and it works well. The issue with the BZ is that it doesn't do anything the best. It does things well, does things good enough, but if I could boil this car down to 2 words, it would be fine enough. It's fine. This car works. But as this is the last day of my loan, tomorrow Toyota is going to come to my house and pick up this car. I'll say hello to the delivery driver, we'll chat a little bit, he'll get into the seat of the car and he'll drive down my street. And at the end of my street, where Sycamore and 8th Street meet, the driver's going to take a left onto 8th Street. And that will be the final time that I think about the BZ. It just doesn't have any staying power. It doesn't have anything that I can point to and say, wow, that's amazing. That's great. You should get it because of this. And when someone comes to me and says, hey, I want an electric SUV, I don't even know if I'll remember the BZ because it doesn't have the best range. It doesn't have the best power. It doesn't have the best looks. This car just fades into the background. It's that kid from high school that you just never heard of ever again. You didn't hate him. You didn't love him. Maybe you hung out with him once or twice. You had a good time. You laughed. It was fine. But as soon as you graduated and tossed your caps, they disappeared from planet Earth. And that's this car. As soon as I'm done with this video and I post it, not really going to come to mind anymore. And I think that's a dangerous spot for the BZ to be in, because if it's not at the top of anyone's list, it's probably not going to be on anyone's list. So this car might not stick around, especially with the fact that the RAV4 is on sale and all new for 2026. The Toyota RAV4 is a vastly better product in every single way. Toyota does hybrid systems the best. That's a car with staying power. That is what you should buy. And since it's pretty much the same size and same price, why wouldn't you go with the RAV4? I don't know if this will stick around for very long. But it's also going to be interesting. Toyota is moving forward with more electric cars. In the past month, they've announced and released the BZ Woodland, a 3-row version. The CHR is coming back as an EV, and now the Highlander is transitioning to an EV product. So this is Toyota's future, but I just hope those products have a little bit more personality, a little bit better of an edge, a little bit more range or power or style or something that makes them more memorable. Because again, I don't think anyone will really remember the BZ. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota for letting me borrow their BZ for the last week. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.